Welcome to Spotlight Radio. I'm your host, Jessica Stern. Today we are proud to put the spotlight on Cassandra Spears. Cassandra, thank you for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
It's a pleasure to have you. Cassandra Spears is the owner of Balanced Warrior Coaching based in Florida. So, Cassandra, you are with Balanced Warrior Coaching. You're a certified professional co-active coach, CTI, associate certified coach, ICF. So tell us, what is life coaching and why did you become a coach?
Well, I'm going to give you a little background. This is some key points to why I'm where I am right now, and then we'll talk a little bit about coaching. I lived in the first 27 years of my life basically without a sense of who I was, a sense of myself. I had no feeling that I had a purpose in life, and I didn't really have a vision of who I was going to be or what I wanted to do. And that was very disturbing for me. I really felt like I was always following other people. But about that time, an opportunity arose to join with a small group of people and begin a community of individuals who were committed to not just living a carefree hippie life that I had been living, but to live from a state of awareness to thoughts and emotions, to programming, to intentions, to actions and reactions, and basically to awaken the self and bring consciousness to every thought, every feeling, and every action, 24 hours a day, every day. It was pretty darn hard. But I stayed there for 7 years in this deep spiritual inquiry. We did a lot of different things. We did meditation, different forms of meditation. We studied different philosophies. We did some yoga. We did work in the garden. I also had a job as doing different things in different places. We also had a health food store for a little while. But during that time, it was really wonderful, and it was also not so wonderful. Sometimes it was actually quite painful, and but it was always a space for learning, for caring, for acceptance of ourselves and others, for growing, and for willing to know and tell the truth as seen from all sides of me, from the child in me, from the teenager who is quite rebellious, from the adult, and from the wise woman, the intuitive. I realized, and still do, that there really is no turning back. There are two choices we make. We either run away and hide our feelings, our thoughts, and pretend they're not there and try to overcome them some way, or we commit and recommit every day to looking for the deeper truth, willing and choosing to move forward into ourselves and into the journey within to know ourselves better and to really know that we are loved, that there is no purpose other than what we were meant to be when we came here. How do we do that? Well, we developed a map to look at our thoughts and feelings, our intentions, and our reactions, and to get what we called getting straight and clear with them so that we can become really present and centered and can tap into our wisdom and our intuition. So when I'm aligned with that part of me in this present tense, in this moment here, I'm in my personal power and heart. I stand up for everyone and everybody. I find compassion, and I'm always in a place of choice
Wow.
This is what I bring to coaching. Yeah.
Absolutely incredible. So during this 7-year journey, if you could share with us some of the most important techniques that you learned and these techniques that you share with your clients to make this transition a bit easier, or if not easier, shorter.
Sure. What we realized is that it really takes 3 people to know what's really going on with someone. When you're in a situation with 2 people, it's very easy for them to take their sides and stick with them. So it's very hard to know which side is accurate, or if there is an accurate or truth that's being told when 2 people are having a conversation or a discussion or an argument. It's very hard to know what's true. But when you bring in a third person, there's more objectivity. There's a sense that now we can kind of look and see. And it's, yes, that third person could possibly take sides, but more likely than not, if we're all there to look at the truth, the third person can be an objective party to bring in that intuition and their wisdom to sort of shine a light onto what's really going on. So that was a large part of it, sort of being willing to look at things with other people. And the second thing is just really accepting that, getting beyond the reaction of what someone's saying, and allowing that, what they're saying, to really sit with me for a while, to sit with one person for a while and see, is that true? Could it possibly be true? And then from that, there's a sense of knowing that, yes, maybe part of it is true, or yes, it really is true. There's this part of me that really, is reacting from something that I learned in childhood that really no longer works for me. And yet I keep going back to that place, and I keep taking it on. And really, maybe I need to step up and take on a new perspective of what's really going on. So that's kind of a lot of what we did. And so we were constantly working on conversations and transactions that were going on within that conversation. We also did some really fun things. So that was, we didn't just sit around and talk and be miserable and be serious all the time. We did things that really opened up the fact that I'm such a serious person, and that it was important for me to go play, to do some fun things. We had a room set up with a flooring that was 12 inches of padding. We could roll around and play around, and we had beanbag chairs in there, and it was really fun as an adult to sort of get back into that childhood and have some fun with it. So we did a lot of fun things as well. We traveled places, and I learned clogging. I learned dancing, different types of dancing. Just had a great time as well. So we had a pond near the house, and we would go out there and swim, and we had a garden that was just wonderful to work in, very healing, very soothing. I know that for me, when I am nervous, like I am today, going out and walking, being with nature, is just a wonderful, wonderful help for me. So really looking for those things that help you get back to the present moment and get back to what's true and what's real.
Wow. It's absolutely fantastic advice. We're going to take a short break here for a commercial, but for our listeners, stay tuned with us. When we get back, we'll go into what is coactive coaching and why you should get coached. So, time for a short commercial break. We will be right back with Cassandra Spears after these messages.
You're listening to Spotlight Radio. Stay tuned for more from today's highest climbers and top professionals. More from Spotlight Radio in less than 2 minutes.
And we are back with Spotlight Radio guest Cassandra Spears, the owner of the Balanced Warrior Coaching based in Florida. And Cassandra, before we go into being a proactive coach, tell us a bit about your community and when you began your massage therapy training and career moving to a Washington, D.C. area.
All right. Well, I after 7 years in the group, it was time for me to move on and really practice what I had learned by moving out into a community. So I moved to Washington and actually started a massage practice, which I had been doing some massage in the group. And so I went through training, and I realized that this was actually a brilliant way for me to work on being centered and offering a caring and love to people in a really profound way. And it was just so great because I got to practice what I was doing. And during that time, during a massage, when you're not talking, I have opportunity then to really meditate, to really get deep, to really get centered, and really know what's going on with that person's body, really know what areas of the body need work, are in pain, are in stress, without sometimes them even knowing because they're blocking, they're so used to something. So it was really interesting. And so when I actually got into coaching, I took a little workshop, and it was time for me to move on. I did massage for probably close to 30 years, and it was time for me to move on into something else. And massage and coaching was so perfect because it does the same thing. It really looks at pain and issues that come up in people's lives that can then be worked on and maybe worked out. So it was really, really interesting. And that is what I bring to my clients is this place of present and centered, this deep intuition and wisdom that I've developed so that the client can see me there and can meet me there. And I've done the work. I've been there. I've done through all the work. So I'm really great at what I do and that I can help clients get to that place in the fast lane, so to speak, the HOV fast lane, and see what's going on with them and then get a different perspective so that they can move forward in their lives, to get straight and clear and present and happy.
Wonderful. And before we get into coactive coaching, for our listeners, don't be shy. If you have a question for Cassandra, please give us a call. That call-in number is 347-945-7071. Again, 347-945-7071. 888-866-9771. And Cassandra, your story is absolutely incredible. Thank you so much for sharing it with us. Moving past the 7 years in the monastery, you're now doing massage. So tell us a bit about coactive coaching and why someone should get coached.
Well, coactive coaching is about two people on level ground coming together to learn and grow in a connected, safe, and collaborative way. It's about the coach holding the client as already naturally creative, resourceful, and whole. It's about the coach accepting where the client is right here, right now, while holding their biggest potential for happiness, for fulfillment, and for success. So I ask really big questions of people, and I listen for their values, what's lying underneath what they're saying, their beliefs. I look for their obstacles and challenges, their pain, and their joy. And most of all, I look for their wisdom, because I'm not here to tell them what to do. I'm not here to fix them. What I'm here to do is ask big questions so that they can remember their own wisdom, their own truth, and find that within themselves and move forward, finding their own answers. So I get them to move to their best place of choice in every decision, that personal power place combined with heart, that higher view of life combined with groundedness.
Wow. And tell us a bit more about, when it comes to coaching, some of the tools in your skill set that you're sharing with your clients.
So a lot of the tools I brought with me from the work I did in the community, presence and deep intuition that we spoke of earlier. Also acceptance. It's huge. I really work hard at not judging people where they are, what they've done. It's not my business to do that. So I really work at what's underneath and what is their pain, and how to work on that, how to get them clear of that into a place of self-forgiveness and then forgiveness of life or others. I work with curiosity. I think there's so much to learn when we put aside our reactive emotions and step into the deep cave of with curiosity and look and see what's there. You never know. There might be a hidden treasure. An unhealthy belief that drives the client and powers all of their decisions, or it could be one that it could be a treasure. It could be something they've forgotten that they really believe in that they can take back on again. I use gratitude. Sometimes just saying thank you is enough to give us a lighter perspective. And really waking up every morning with a sense of gratitude sets the whole day up for magic. I use magic. Well, enough said on that. I use accountability. When we hold the client accountable for what the homework we give them, for the goals that they set, they're much more willing to do that. Even if it's at the last minute, it still gives them a sense that somebody is caring about whether they move forward or not. Resilience. I use resilience a lot because unpredictability is quite helpful. Sometimes it can shift someone out of a place and get them to see things differently. And I use compassion. I know that no one is perfect, including me, and perfection invites failure. What do I mean by that? If you're trying to be perfect all the time, you're not going to be that. And so then you're going to get down on yourself. So let's start with just doing little things that move toward the completion of a bigger goal instead of trying to have perfection. So compassion with oneself is so important to embrace. It's the only constant in the universe that's change, and when you add compassion to change, you can move forward much more easily.
Wow, that's an excellent point. So tell us a bit about your relationship with your clients. So what would you say are some of the most common issues that your clients are bringing to you to solve?
Great question. Some of the important things that they bring are, they don't like their job. They don't like people at their job. They're really in a place of stress, and they don't know how to move out of it. It's very hard for them. They feel stuck. They feel, or sometimes it's not their job. It's their home life that they're feeling stuck with. They're having a struggle with their relationships, and they don't know how to get out of that place of anger or resentment. Sometimes it's important that they look at those things and say, wow, what values that I hold dear are being stepped on? What am I stepping on, or what are other people stepping on? And really look at that and say, am I willing to allow that to continue, or do I wish to make a change? Do I wish to move forward? Do I wish to fix that particular value that's being stepped on? Because when we hold our values as most dear to us, that includes people. It may include relationships. It may include integrity or truth or honesty or fun or passion. When we hold those values as important to us, then we're willing to stand up for them and claim our space and claim those values as important for us and for our lives.
And before our program unfortunately comes to a close, if you could share with us a value exercise.
Sure. I would just like to leave the audience with a question. What value that you hold really, really dearly? And so you're going to have to look at your values. What are they? Are they integrity, truth, honesty, home, family, finances, choice? Look at those values and pick one. Pick one that is being stepped on, that is being squished, that is not being honored. And what can you do? What can you do this week? What can you do in the next few days to really take one tiny step to change that? Can you research if it's about a job? Can you do a little research and find out what else is out there? If it's about how your living room looks because you value cleanliness, what one little thing can you do to change that this week? It's fun to do that because what you see is, wow, that wasn't difficult. You can make little changes, and it's really not about trying to change everything, but just make one tiny little step forward.
Wonderful. And Cassandra, what's the best way for listeners to reach out and get in touch with you?
Well, you can find me on balancedwarriorcoaching.com, which is my website. You can also email me at balancedwarrior@aol.com, and you can also call me at 850-226-8688.
Wonderful. So again, for our listeners to reach out and get in touch with Cassandra Spears, the owner of the Balanced Warrior Coaching based in Florida. Definitely check out the gorgeous site. I'm looking at it right now. I must commend you. It is clean, pristine, easy to navigate. That is balancedwarriorcoaching.com. Spelled correctly, balanced, B-A-L-A-N-C-E-D, warrior, W-A-R-R-I-O-R, coaching, COACHING.com, or you can email her directly, balancedwarrior@AOL.com. And for listeners, next time on the show, we're going to go into surviving versus thriving. What are the qualities of people who flourish? Why? And how do we get stuck in the muck and can't find a way out? So, Cassandra, thank you so much for joining us. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on the program.
Thanks for having me. I really enjoyed this.
You're welcome. Thank you. And you've been listening to Spotlight Radio with special guest Cassandra Spears. Tune in every day to hear from the most interesting people on SpotlightRadio.com.